How can it be smarter, not harder? That is a question I pose often to my clients. It's a favorite because it usually generates an immediate mind shift, moving you away from the suffer through and slog it out part of your brain into the, wait a minute, I can see a better way. Smarter accesses your natural brilliance and human ingenuity. I believe it amplifies effort, expands possibilities, and creates tremendous momentum. I want to give you a big dose of smarter for whatever is feeling harder in your life. So get ready and let's go. This is The Growth Moment with your coach, Amy Kay. Inspiration, ideas, and incredible insights for you to be more and do more. Get ready to grow today. We start with you. What does smarter, not harder, mean to you? What comes up? Do you tend towards the smarter direction or the harder? What examples do you have from across your life? What does your kind of smarter look like? As always, you can pause the audio if you wish to jot down a few things, or we can just roll. I'm thinking about all kinds of different smarter ways, even simple ones, like using a pre-printed grocery list and circling what I need for the week so I don't have to go back and forth. Or weightlifting, when you really learn the proper technique or form and all of a sudden you can lift way more than you ever thought possible. In career, smarter might be playing to your strengths instead of working to fix every weakness. And we all know the power of time blocking or shutting out the distractions in order to focus and flow. Classic smarter, not harder. Even in the emotional realm, moving away from the harder of trying to change someone into the smarter of changing your response or perspective. But sometimes we don't exactly have a clear concept. When my son was younger, I was always telling him to try smarter, not harder. My boy has gotten more than his share of unsolicited coaching from his mother. For a while, he thought it meant trying to get out of doing something he didn't want to do, or to even cheat on an assignment. I had to explain that's not the kind of smarter we're talking about. I have clients with a mixed relationship to smarter, not harder. Ones who work for organizations or a boss that use it as a way to demand more output without extra money or resources. Just work smarter. And many of us were raised to think that harder is admirable, proof that we can handle the tough things, or we are earning our place. The nobility of suffering. Not everyone thinks smarter or easier is good. So I really want to be clear on the concept. Here is a definition. The ability to apply knowledge, creativity, and critical thinking to make better decisions and solve problems effectively. In contrast to harder, which focuses on sheer effort or persistence, smarter focuses on maximizing outcomes with intentionality, insight, and leverage. That's what I'm talking about. It's not just about work, pouring in more time and effort, grinding it out. You get to maximize the outcome with your intentionality and insight. When we come back, I want to experiment with finding some smarter for your harder. Okay, we're going to do some coaching right now. I want to play with different tips and tools for finding smarter for your harder. Think of today as an opportunity to open up your mind and take a few steps forward, the beginning of a path. I will share ideas and a client example too. Go ahead and pick an area in your life where it feels hard. Look across everything. Career, health, wealth, relationships, hobbies and passions, even home stuff or logistics. Find something that is feeling stuck, heavy, like pushing a rock up a hill, just hard. Not the good kind of hard when you know you're building strength, but something that feels like it shouldn't be this difficult. Write it down if you wish or have it in your mind. As always, pause the audio anytime to capture your thoughts. Here is your very first smarter tip. Pause, breathe, and reflect. That is how we start to find smarter. I want you to take a deep breath. Lean back and go up 10,000 feet. Notice what you've been experiencing with this particular challenge or issue. What has it been like for you? What about it makes it so hard? What's the nature of the hard? Is it emotional, spiritual, physical, or maybe logistical? All of the above? Go ahead, reflect. Jot down anything you come up with. For example, I have a client who quit her corporate job and is building her own business. She is experiencing big time hard around networking and finding clients. Like pushing on something that is stuck, a lot of friction and resistance. It even feels heavy in her chest when she talks about it, a bit hard to breathe. So the coaching started with a pause. Several deep breaths and the invitation to get curious and take a look. What's so hard about networking and finding clients? Here is what she said. It's not actually doing the thing. I love talking to people, connecting, figuring out what they need. It's the outcome that has me stressed out. It's the finale, the check hitting the bank account. That's the piece. It feels like hard work instead of fun. It's the worry about the bank account and the thought, what if this doesn't succeed? I'm actually having lots of great conversation, but it feels really difficult right now. And that's what's keeping me from finding the joy, which is the reason I quit my corporate job and started this in the first place. Pause, breathe, and reflect is always a good step. Especially if you want smarter, not harder. To stop hustling so you can notice what's going on for you. Like trying to shove a square peg in a round hole, you need to quit forcing it and check out the problem. Think of harder as an invitation to pause. So, what else are you noticing about your harder example? The next step is usually to simply ask, how can this be smarter? You have an amazing brain, which will strive to answer any question you pose. It's wired to find possibilities, to experiment, to innovate. Using our definition as a guide, I ask you, how can you apply knowledge, creativity, and critical thinking to where you are experiencing harder? See what bubbles up in your brain right now. What knowledge can you pull from inside or outside yourself? How might you dial up your creativity? What about some critical or analytical thinking? How can you leverage your insights so far today? And what is your intention anyway? What is the bigger picture or outcome that the harder is supposed to serve? All of these questions are just opening up the mindset for smarter. Again, capture any ideas you have. For my client, we talked about how her worry about checks hitting the bank account is absolutely legit with a new business. Of course, she has some worry. My coaching question was, what's the smartest way to handle the worry? Basically, I invited her to play with the question. Here is her response. Literally, my chest is heavy. I'm doing the harder thing now. You know, it's a really weird paradox to be so confident that you're doing the right work, you're in the right space, like it's going to happen, and yet have this moment in time where it's really uncomfortable, which is just growth, I guess. I know it, but the feeling of being in that space is new for me, or maybe not new, but it's been a hot minute since I've been in that really uncomfortable space. Smarter might mean making room for the discomfort. That is one of the cool things about humans. If you give us a little grace and space, we find our way. My client was starting to leverage her insight that she is in a growth moment. Naturally, it's new and uncomfortable. Accessing her knowledge that she's in the right place and this is her purpose creates room for smarter. Give yourself extra grace and space in this moment as you open up your mind. When we come back, I'm going to share more tools that can help with brainstorming what smarter looks like for you. Coaching is an art, not a science, so there is no set process. However, sometimes it's lovely to have a few tools in your back pocket. I put a list of smarter, not harder ideas in the show notes. There are 6. Listen for which ones jump out or speak to you. Number 1, be clear and on purpose. Understand your why and align actions with your vision. Basically, get out of the weeds and into the bigger picture. Keep asking yourself, does this move me closer to my goal? Number 2, leverage and amplify. Collaborate, delegate, get some help. Hand off some of the hard to someone who might be able to do it better, faster, or cheaper so you can focus on what you love to do. Number 3, streamline, baby. Design a process that reduces the friction and prevents bottlenecks. Use your smart brain. Number 4, manage your energy and emotions. When you are hitting harder, you might need to dial up the self-care. Your brain is marvelous, but runs out of gas. Know when to rest and restore. Number 5, experiment and iterate. Approach harder with curiosity and creativity. Ask yourself, what else is possible? Find a brainstorming partner or a coach. Free to try things and toss what doesn't work. Number 6, do it your way. Full permission, your way or the highway. Forget about what everyone else says. Focus your time and attention on your unique strengths or zone of genius. Trust yourself. There are endless possibilities of how to do smarter. That's the fun of being human. You get to make your own. However, did any of these pique your interest? Jot them down so you can play with them. I shared them with my client as well and asked which ones struck her. Well, they all are meaningful, but the 2 that jump out are do it your way and manage your energy and emotions. I think I have spent so much time and energy on free webinars where you try to find the secret sauce. Like there's a magic pill. Pay me $500 and I'll make you $1 million. But I don't want to post on LinkedIn 4 times a day. That's just not how I roll. My way and the thing I like is the relationship. I think it's about quality over quantity. That's how I've operated my whole life. I have lots of acquaintances and a small circle of very deep friends. I think from a business perspective, I want deeper relationships. I don't need to work with 1,000 clients. That's not the dream. The dream is to really go deep and provide value to a few. I'm giving all this energy and emotion to everybody else's ideas. If I try to market and sell like everyone else, I will please no one and I won't find my people. Now we're getting somewhere, discovering the steps towards smarter. The last question I asked was, if we take those 2 pieces, quality over quantity and investment in deeper relationships, what will you do differently going forward? Her big aha was to trust her instincts, drop the long list of marketing shoulds, and only focus on relationship-based referrals in order to get more quickly to her people. Take that in. What did you get from this whole client story? What is your aha? When we come back, I have closing thoughts and a challenge for you. What steps or path are you starting to see for your smarter? What might you do differently going forward? Know that working smarter isn't just about shortcuts. It's about knowing your why and cutting out the noise that doesn't serve it. Instead of doing more, focus on doing what matters most. One caveat. I don't want to denigrate harder because sometimes difficult is part of growth. Incredible growth can spring from stepping up, pushing through, or giving your all. However, the way I look at it, if giving my all can also be next level smart and I can triple my impact, why not do that? I'm a big fan of smarter because I think it amplifies everything. Plus, I think smarter is way more fun. My challenge for you is to pick at least one action, the one smarter thing you will do differently going forward. Write it down. Put it up where you can see it. Build your smarter, not harder path, maximizing your outcomes with intentionality, insight, and leverage. I would love to know what you walked away with today, what your ahas were. Know that I'm always here to support your growth moment, whether it's one-on-one private coaching or joining one of my coaching groups or workshops. Find all the episodes on thegrowthmoment.com and subscribe, follow on your favorite podcast app or on my YouTube channel. Now get out there and grow today.